What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and I just wanted to make a short video on the Rad-Sniffer and a radiation team that I came up with. Now first, let me say, not everyone's going to be able to use this combination. And secondly, you don't have to worry about it, because it really isn't that powerful. In case you didn't know, the Rad-Sniffer is a multi-function item, but it can only access its second function once you remove radiation from your team. Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering, step 5 of 5, you just have to complete a flight deck mission, and you'll get 1 command point. That last task really has nothing to do with the item itself. It's just an extra bonus task to help tie into the story, and also it will give you 1 command point. But back to my explanation about this combo. Someone on the forums mentioned the Specimen Scanner, and this is what this item looks like. Hopefully you have it and didn't socket it in your armory. This item is a surefire way that you can remove radiation exposure from your team with the Rad-Sniffer. And of course that will give access to its multi-function ability. So basically I build a team around radiation exposure and these 2 items. And that team's going to be Iron Patriot and the Red Hulk. Of course Iron Patriot puts plenty of stacks of radiation exposure on your opponents. And Red Hulk can also add to that and exploit radiation with his level 2 Bunker Buster. Of course there are several other items that you could use, like the Ionic Cannon and the Nuclear Fuel Rod. Oh, and by the way, the Nuclear Fuel Rod may also be another way to put radiation exposure on your agent. So that may be another alternative for those who don't have the Specimen Scanners. But Specimen Scanners is pretty awesome because it is a quick action, and it's going to place radiation exposure on everyone, all of the enemies, and your whole team. So let's go ahead and use that quick action item, and it will place radiation exposure on everyone. Unfortunately for us, Asgardians such as Heimdall are immune to radiation exposure. This was something that I actually forgot at the time of this battle. But now that radiation exposure is on our team, we can use the Rad-Sniffer, and it will remove it. Now we have access to the other function, but we have to wait for our next turn. And that's just another problem with the Rad-Sniffer. First off, you need to take up 2 slots for it to even work, or get extremely lucky and hope that Iron Patriot or someone like that's on the other team, and they're going to put radiation exposure on you. Obviously that would be pretty crazy to go into a blind PvP match hoping for that. The only really viable option for that is if you're in PvE, and you know the enemy or the boss is going to use radiation exposure. The last problem with this multi-function item is it only unlocks 1 other option, and that option does only average damage. Sure, with this type of setup you could do pretty decent damage with it, but it's certainly not worth a 2-turn wait and taking up 2 out of 4 equipment slots. Unfortunately, it's just too much to ask. But I do think it was fun to kind of make a team based around radiation exposure, and it's almost like a mini team spotlight. Alright, so after Red Hulk uses his Gamma Bomb, we're building up some radiation exposure on the Agent and Ares. After Heimdall does his thing, Iron Patriot's going to add to that radiation exposure. Pretty much nothing beats 21 gun salute for placing radiation stacks. We're not even going to use full overcharge for this one. I'll just fire it twice. Another great thing about this ability is even against a protector, they'll only take that first wave, then the second hits everyone. And so would the third if we would have used his level 9 first. Now it's finally our agent's turn again, and we'll go ahead and use the Scroll of Angolob just to wipe out anything we don't want. And now we're going to use our Empowered Scrapper Suits ability, and that's called Close the Gap. In case you were curious what that does, it's a quick action. It causes the next single target attack to grant a follow-up attack. Attacks have greatly increased chance to hit, and it ignores most avoidance effects. And now finally, the Rad-Sniffer's extra ability, Rad-Sniffer Feedback. It's a single target attack, and it exploits radiation. So obviously, since Heimdall is an Asgardian, we're going to want to hit Ares with this. So here goes nothing. The Rad-Sniffer Feedback. It does a pretty decent crit and does finish him off. But like I said, it's just not worth it. that's not a big enough hit, especially not for 2 slots and 2 turns. And if Heimdall did have radiation exposure, we would use the Bunker Buster on him, and it can do quite a bit of damage. But still, Red Hulk manages a big enough hit to finish the battle. Well, that's going to be the end of our look at the Rad-Sniffer and our radiation team. I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos.